Hello, congratulations. You have graduated secondary school. Well done. My name is Amos Tarfa, and I'm going to be sharing about the GAP program to inspire students who have graduated secondary school to prepare themselves for the unique time that they are graduating. Imagine you are living in 1831 and you've learned about how to make candles. You're very good with your understanding of how things work on the farm. And then somebody comes and tells you, I just found out there's another way to make electricity. And also there's machines to help with your farm. Now you think to yourself, wait. But I've been preparing for candle making and farming and agriculture in the traditional way. Now you're telling me there's machines that can do that, and there's also machines that can produce electricity without candles? Now, electricity came after, later on, but the man who started doing the work is one of my favorite people in the history of the world. His name is Michael Faraday. Michael Faraday was born in 1791 in England. And Faraday only got a junior secondary school education at the highest level. Pretty much that would be all he would have had, is about JSS 1, 2, or 3, or about 8th grade education. But Faraday was curious. He wanted to understand the world that God had made. See, he was a Christian man who understood that God created the heavens and the earth, so he wanted to study the world that God had made. And Faraday used to go to lectures, and he would take notes at these lectures of a man called Sir Humphrey Davy. You see, what was fascinating is that Humphrey Davy ended up needing somebody to be an assistant at the Royal Institution at some point, and Faraday came and said, Faraday went to him and said, can I help you, sir? I've been taking notes at your lectures. Can I get a chance to work with you? And Humphrey Davy gave him a chance. Guys, I'm not exaggerating when I say Michael Faraday changed the world. Electrolysis, Faraday. Electricity and magnetism, Faraday. I can go on and on for 20 or 30 or 40 things that Faraday did, but he only had a primary and early secondary school education. How was he so influential? Why is Faraday one of the best scientists in the history of the world? Why? Because he was curious. See, Faraday's story is one of the most fascinating stories because Faraday ends up meeting a man by the name of James Clerk Maxwell. Hey! Those two people meeting changed the world. The whole world. Just those two men. Michael Faraday brought his experimentation skills. James Clerk Maxwell brought his mathematical excellence. Maxwell was a mathematical physicist. Yeah, see title. If you ask me, I'm just joking, but imagine you go somewhere. There are some jobs that when you have them, when somebody asks for your name, you tell them your job also. You won't just say your name. You say, my name is Amos, but I'm a mathematical physicist as well. I am a medical physicist, but I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying medical physics and mathematical physics are connected. So why am I telling you this story? Hey. Remember that candle maker? Can you remember that candle guy and that machinery on the farm that came and displaced everything? AI is 10 times that whole issue we just discussed. What does that mean? That means you can have a degree in computer science and not have a job in the AI revolution if you don't have the AI piece of the equation. Case in point, Microsoft just laid off many computer scientists. Salesforce just laid off many computer scientists. Okay, so you are telling me that getting a degree is no longer enough? No, not at all. No. As a matter of fact, there are some people today who work in universities that are telling people, don't even come here. What should you do instead? Skill up on your AI. Make sure you know AI like you know your name. Understand, not just prompting AI. No. Why does AI work? Why does AI work? What are the mathematical principles behind AI? Now, if you go to university and you have the things I just told you, now you are different. But most people are not paying attention. Guys, I'm watching this thing close. The kind of change coming in the next 5 years, the world has never seen it before. Here's why. Because by the way, the reason why AI has kind of disrupted education, well, actually, it hasn't kind of. The reason why AI has disrupted education a lot is because people in education were not ready for AI. Let me repeat that. People in education were not ready for AI. AI just came from nowhere and it destroyed education. And you haven't seen the full effect, but you will see. AI is destroying education. Here's why AI is destroying education though. You should actually understand the why. Because why do we teach the way we teach today? Why is education the way it is today? Think about that. Back in the 1800s, around the same time period I'm talking to you about, there were children working in factories. They were not in schools. The Industrial Revolution and everything that was happening, life was hectic in the 1700s and 1800s. Then there was this push for literacy and numeracy. So then they started building all these schools. Now, in the history of education, you have to understand the role of Germany and why some of that is not necessarily a good thing in terms of the Prussian education model. That is something we should discuss later on. Now, Germany gave us some of the best scientists, of course. We could talk about Boltzmann, well, he was Austrian, but I'm saying that region of the world, the Austro-Hungarian Empire as well as Germany, we could talk about the phenomenal educational expertise they had in rigor. That's not a question. But the model of an industrial style, class by class, grade by grade, that whole system, AI does not do well with it. Here's why. Because when I was in primary 4, I was waiting for new general mathematics for primary 5. I was always waiting for the next book, even when I was ready, because everybody had to do primary 4 when they were in primary 4. But with AI, everybody now has all the textbooks for all the classes, for all the pieces that can rewrite it for themselves in a way that they will understand. Nobody thought this was coming at this scale. No. This is unbelievable. That means that right now I can prompt my agentic AI and say, write a math textbook for Nigerian students in just Nigeria using examples that are only specific to the local community they are in. Go. And it will write it before I'm done with this video. Do you guys understand that this is another level? This is not just a small shift. No. You've entered a new world, but this is not even all of it. Why? Because AI will accelerate. So there's generative AI, which is ChatGPT. Everybody knows ChatGPT and all that. Okay, that's called generative AI. When Google was there, I believe education expired when Google came out because Google already gave us everything, right? So education has been expired since September 4th, 1998. But sometimes something can expire and you still use it for a while. So education expired September 4th, 1998. And then we fast forward down the line. And basically what we end up getting is that when something has expired, over time, it actually gets toxic. Think about the things that when they expire, you can still use them for a short period of time, but then they become toxic and you should not use them anymore. So Google came and we got that information age of a different kind. So that was number one. We got Google. But do you know that generative AI makes Google look like a child in terms of just its search capabilities? So generative AI came and it put Google no, Google is not, many people don't even use Google anymore, okay? But then there's another level that came called agentic AI. So agentic AI is doing things and not just telling you answers. It can make websites, it can write textbooks, it can write books, it can do all these things to fit your specific need. Okay, so we have Google, we have generative AI, we have agentic AI. The next level is already coming in America and England and some other parts of the world, and that is called humanoid robot agentic AI systems integrated. So what that means is that we have all these things happening side by side in real time. I have a friend who owns a humanoid or is a part of a humanoid robot startup. And I can tell you that when he looks at the current education system, he's not impressed. Not at all. He's not impressed. No. So if you're going to go through the current system and now come to my friend and say, can I work for you because, I went to school and blah, he's not impressed. He wants to know, are you competent? Do you know mathematics? Do you know physics? Do you know engineering? Do you understand how to build? Do you know how to code? You need to start thinking about where the world is going. And the world is not going to the Industrial Revolution. No. As a matter of fact, in some countries, in the next 7 years, there will be 50% unemployment. Do you know why? Because they will have automation at the highest levels. There are already some people talking about universal basic income because they know when AI is in full steam, they are building over 1 billion humanoid robots in the next 10 to 15 years. Those robots will be able to do all the jobs that people are doing today in the factories. Now you ask yourself, why are they doing this? Well, they're trying to be more efficient. Some of these countries need the humanoid robots, don't get me wrong, because some of these countries have a low birth rate. They don't have enough people to come in and take the roles, which leads me to an interesting point of my vision. I am looking at a global vision by God's grace where we connect people to different countries based on what they want to study and specialize in, and then they can go there and be a light. So if you want to go to Japan, let's talk. If you want to go to England, let's talk. If you want to go to America, let's talk. But let's make sure it's lined up with your vision for your life first. Where are you going in life? and what makes you different. That's the other key element in this AI age. Because now you can learn anything you want fast. Do you know that you can get a whole university education degree in 1 year now? Like that. Before AI, we could do it. With AI now, 6 months is enough. 6 months is enough to take somebody from no knowledge to a point where they can enter a company and start making waves. In 6 months. This idea of first term, second term, summer holiday, and you are tying it to your learning, you have to stop. We all have to stop. You should always be seeking to learn. Hey, here's the problem with this AI age. There was already social media age that we never finished. We didn't finish that one, oh, and now we're adding AI. Why am I saying this? Because people were so distracted with social media. Now we're giving them AI. Trouble has come. That's how they say in Nigeria. Trouble don't come. Because people don't know how to focus. People didn't have a vision for their lives, some of them. And now we're giving them tools. And some of them will lean on those tools and not learn how to learn. AI is a tool. But what are you going to do with it? That's the question. Why don't you join me on Saturdays? Let's keep this conversation going. Every Saturday, parents, everybody, let's come. You know, sometimes we'll even invite the AI scientists. Let them come and talk to us and tell us the inside scoop. Because the speed that things are moving is just too fast. But let me say one more thing on this, and then I'll wrap it up with our gap year students. Do you know that quantum computing has not yet arrived fully, but it's coming? Okay, so we have AI, we have generative AI, agentic AI, we have the one above that would be, so we have generative, agentic, we have humanoid robots, but then parallel to that, we have quantum computing. Students, you should not be waiting for your university education. You should be focused on what can you do now to advance yourself in your education. Get with AI tools. Make sure you know what you want to do with your life. That is so important in the age of AI. This is where America is going to get itself in trouble, because other countries have been positioning themselves well and have trained up enough mathematicians, and well, they've trained way more mathematicians, or they have the capacity to train more mathematicians. Now, we have to be careful not to force children to go into fields that they're not interested in. But what I'm trying to say is, if you want to be an electrical engineer and you're only 12 years old, but you know that's what you want to do with your life, you have a head start. Get on AI and start learning what electrical engineers learn. Get a notebook, start taking notes. Be like Michael Faraday, be curious. And by the way, that James Clerk Maxwell guy, he's the father of electrical engineering. Without Maxwell, you will not be able to watch this video you're watching right now. So, we have work to do. I have some engineering courses, Becoming an Engineer book, as well as Ultra Learning, which will teach you how to learn anything fast. The Abolition of Man by C.S. Lewis. This one will teach you how to think about life. People will not know how to live their lives anymore. They don't know what to do. And that's where my ministry, Living Sensibly, with Amos Tarfa, focuses on as well. Helping people learn to live lives that make sense. Ultimately, we go back to the Bible. You have to learn how to live. This is going to be critical. No matter where you find yourself in the world, make sure you know how to live. That is going to be really important. So, congratulations again on graduating. But AI is the way of the future at this point. There are some companies that will not hire you if you don't know AI. They won't hire you. They don't even want to, no, don't even try. Why? Because they know AI can help with computation and analysis in a much faster way than human beings can. And that's fine. But of course, AI cannot do what human beings can do in certain arenas of life. That leads me to another place they are trying to go. They are trying to go to artificial general intelligence and artificial super intelligence. Let's pick it up from there in our next video. Don't waste today. Make a plan for your day, every single day. What do you plan to accomplish today? How are you going to serve your neighbor? How are you going to be the best that you can be? And what is the vision for your life? Who is mentoring you? Who is helping you navigate this landscape? Welcome to the AI revolution. Congratulations on graduating, and do not use the former systems to drive your way forward. The new era has come. Let's go, let's be prepared, and let's transform Africa using the tools, using the research we can do with AI. Let's transform Africa, and let's see many people thrive. God bless you, take care, and thank you.